Cule. Spencer, I let that run a little bit too long, man, just because I received a text message, a long text message, and I was caught up reading that. All right, man. Joe Trucker here, Los Tres Chingones Boxing. What is up to all the chingones and the chingonas, man? Lot of fighting or a lot of boxing over the weekend. Um, Spencer, if I'm a little bit low on energy, Holmes, but just just kind of chillaxing, I guess, man. So man, we got a lot to talk about, homie. So let's just get right into it. There was a lot of fights. Um, I don't know if we really need to spend time on the Mick Conlon fight. That was just a complete it was just he just demolished them, dog. So shots to Mick Conlon went over there, did his thing, or I mean, it was across the pond already, but he did his thing. We're not gonna spend time talking about that. What's up, Andres? Orale, look at that, man. Throwing out the R word, Holmes. Damn, we just barely started, dog. Vato throwing out the R word, man. What's up, Pete Town? All right, so definitely we're gonna get into the whole Teofimo fight. We're gonna get into Terrence Crawford, and we're gonna get into the fight that actually took place today, this morning, with Monster Anyway. Um, let's go ahead and let's talk about the Terrence Crawford fight real quick, man, because I do want to spend. I don't know if anybody got a chance to watch the Butler Anyway fight. It was I enjoyed it, but let's go ahead and let's talk about the Crawford fight real quick, man, against Avanesian. Hey, what's up, Will Boxing? I just saw that. I just saw that a little earlier today. Golden Boy won the bid. That's gonna be a great fight. However, if I'm Stenones, I'm pretty pissed off, man. I'm pretty pissed off because that was not part of the deal for Montes Stenones. That was not part of the deal, man, to go fight Virgil. The part of the deal was for him to actually get a fight with Errol Spence, but oh well. Going into the Terrence Crawford fight, man, against Avanesian, I thought it was going to be Crawford coming out with the victory. Crawford had not fought since Sean Porter. That was last year. And I was thinking, hey, look, man, he's probably going to have a little bit of ring rust. Now, I'm going to be honest. Look, I predicted that Avanesian would even possibly even drop him, but still lose the fight. I thought Crawford was gonna eventually it was all gonna come back to him and he was gonna end up dominating Avanesian. I didn't think he was gonna stop him. I thought it was gonna go all 12, man. That's not what happened. But being honest, David Avanesian did have his moments. He did land a couple of good shots, especially those looping shots. But I don't think he actually ever hurt Crawford. Even though he landed a couple of good clean shots, I never saw Crawford buckle. I never saw him, have to draw back. I never saw him have to buy a little bit of time. Like the power just wasn't there for Avanesian to be hurting Crawford, man. Clean shots, couple of good clean shots, but never, at least from what I saw, never hurt Crawford. And then Crawford started doing what Crawford does, man, and just finished them off. And as soon as I saw the knockdown, I was like, wow, that's it. It's over. There was no. I started seeing Avanesian was not able to hurt Crawford. And he had some all right early success, I don't know if I'm gonna say he won a round, but he had some pretty good moments. I did like the fight. It wasn't an action-packed fight, but it was a pretty good, decent fight. So, but nonetheless, man, Crawford does what Crawford does, gets the stoppage, and now let's see what happens from here. So, but hey, look, let's go ahead and let's get into um the ESPN. Let's get into Teofimo Lopez. Well, the card. Let's get into the card. Okay. Um, for one, Sanders Zayas was in the undercard. 20 years old, 154-pound fighter. The pride of the Boricuas. Good stuff, man. Timothy Bradley was pretty much critical on Xander Zayas the entire fight. And he wasn't lying. It's not that Tim Bradley was making things up. So he wasn't lying, but something that Tim Bradley said did kind of make me think a little bit, and it does kind of go with Xander Zayas and him being a young kid, is that he kind of reacts to the crowd. So if the crowd is getting impatient and they start booing, Xander Zayas seems to kind of want to pick it up at that moment. And he kind of plays to the crowd. Now, you got to be a fan-friendly fighter if you're gonna be selling tickets. So, we know that already. However, you got to pick your moments. And at 20 years old, where you're still kind of learning, at one point, look, I'll just say this, man. At one point, Tim Bradley was kind of bothering me a little bit. Like, come on, man. Let the 20-year-old kid let him grow, man. You don't have to criticize everything that he's doing. He's still learning. But ultimately, what he said was correct. He said, hey, look, if the competition steps up, he's going to have problems with it. Yes. But the competition has not stepped up because the kid is still growing in the sport of boxing. But look, I'm a fan of Xander Zayas, man. I like the kid. I think the kid can do some really good things. How much longer is he going to be at 154 pounds? I don't really know. He's 20 years old. The kid's growing. He'll be up at 160. I say this time next year, he's fighting at 160. He's 20 years old. His body's growing. There's no need to, just keep on draining yourself to be making that weight. I'm not saying he's having trouble making that weight, but I am saying that his body is growing. And his frame, he's got a pretty big frame. He's a pretty big kid, man. So I think this time next year he'll be up at 160. And I hope 2023 keeps him busy. He doesn't need to be sitting on his hands. Let's keep this kid going. Let's keep him moving. And man, I really like what I see from him. And man, big ups on him, man. At the end, with him speaking Spanish to all his boricuas. Hey, primero en español para todos los boricuas and everything, man. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Moving on, I'm kind of going through this a little bit quick because I do want to get to the Lopez thing, man. But going on, the real big baby Anderson, heavyweight, who I am a fan of. This guy is a showman. I like this guy. He is an entertainer. He comes in always with these kind of costumes. I remember him coming in looking like a pimp. This time around, he came in as the Grinch. Even his boxing gloves were the Grinch, Christmas themed and all. And look, man, he's an entertainer, and I like him, and I think the guy can box. I am gonna say this: he got hit pretty easily throughout this fight. Now, this can go a couple of different ways. It could be that the guy doesn't really have good defense. That could be possible. Or it could be that he knew the punches weren't hurting him. And he just said, look, I can go ahead and take these punches. So there's really no need for me to put a lot of head movement out there because I can take these punches. Because I'm gonna tell you guys, man, if you guys saw that fight, which was the co-main event, he took some pretty good punches, clean, solid punches, and I never really saw him wobble. He took some punches, man, where I was like, damn. I would have thought that his knees would have buckled at least just a little bit, but I never saw him wobble. I never saw him, go back like, oh damn, that one really hurt, or that one, gave me a nice little head change. I never saw that. And he took some pretty big punches. So I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if he doesn't have good defense, or I don't know if he just took the hits and said, this guy can't hurt me. What's up, Dos Matador? Big Baby was solid. The Grinch was 100. He took it like a champ. Yeah, he did. He took all those hits. I'm not saying, hey, he did not take one or two or three. I don't know. He must have took about maybe about a good, like really, really good 5, 6 solid hits, man. I'm talking about hands down, taking them right to the head, right to the face. I never saw him move or respond to it. So, and I do like his boxing skills, but it is concerning the fact that he's taking those hits. Now, if he, like I said, if he's taking those hits simply because he's all like, hey, man, this guy can't hurt me, that's one thing. And I still wouldn't recommend taking those hits because maybe it doesn't phase you, but look, man, it's still gonna do some damage to your head. What's up, man in water? And I was just thinking, hey man, this guy gets in there with this, I mean, we're in this heavyweight division, Holmes. Okay, he gets in there with somebody who can hit. He can't be doing this. Anderson will be our next heavyweight champion. He's young with good skills. He is young with good skills. And after the fight, Tyson Fury, I don't know if you guys saw, Tyson Fury said that that's the future of heavyweights. And I believe it. I can believe it. I like Richard Torres Jr. as well. Antonio Morales. Morales, I like him. But man, we need to bring him up very slowly. But look, the real Big Baby Anderson, man, big ups on him. I don't know if he's gonna continue. Once the competition gets a lot more serious, I don't know if he's gonna still continue, wearing the costumes to the ring or not. I don't think it takes away from a fighter. Sometimes a fighter just needs to show his personality. We all remember, Hector Macho Camacho. We remember Maromel Baez. A lot of these dudes, man, that will come out with, just costumes and all, right? I mean, heck, even Tyson Fury has came out with costumes, So I don't want to take that away from him. If that's his personality, that's his personality, man. But when the competition steps up, I hope his mind is in the game. He does got boxing skills. So yeah, man, I'm a fan. I'm a fan to Jared Big Baby Anderson. All right. Let me see what you guys are. Hey, what's up, Impala? Let me see. Joe Me. You rank current heavyweights. Rank current heavyweights. I still got Tyson Fury number 1. Usyk a strong number 2. I mean, me myself personally, I don't really do too much of the whole ranking system. But if you're gonna if somebody asks me, hey, who do you think is the best heavyweight? I still gotta go Tyson Fury. I still do. His size and the way he moves is is just something different, man. I gotta go Tyson Fury. Not to say that Usyk can't beat him, because he could. But as it stands right now, I say Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight. But all right, let's go with Sandor Martin and Teofimo Lopez. And yes, we're definitely gonna get into Butler and Inoue. That fight took place early today because it was in Japan. But let's go with Lopez and Sandor Martin. Okay. Lot of things going on, lot of things going on around in this fight. Okay, first of all, who do I think won the fight? I believe Teofimo Lopez won the fight. However, I want to make something clear. It's one of those fights where I'm sure I can go back and watch it again, and maybe it will change my mind. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and say, like, hey, man, I watched this fight 3 times, because I didn't. There was a lot of boxing going on, man. I was trying to check out all the boxing that I possibly can. I watched this fight once, and I thought Teofimo Lopez won the fight. Not hands down. Let's make that clear. Let's get that very clear. I'm not saying he won the fight hands down. No, Chales. But I just edged it out barely for Lopez. Had it been a draw, I wouldn't have been upset. Had it been Sandor Martin that they gave it to, again, I wouldn't have been upset. But if I were the judge, I would have barely edged it out for Lopez. So we get into this fight. It's Heisman night. Lopez is trying to make this a thing, and I think he's, he is making it a thing, man. He's coming out fighting Heisman night, and I like it, man. I do like it. I do like the fact that he throws on the jersey for the Heisman winner. He does the backflip and all. I think he is making it a thing. However, he needs to be winning for this to be a thing, right? We got the whole Cinco de Mayo thing. We got the Mexican independence thing. I do like somebody making something else a thing in boxing. And Heisman night, for one reason or another, I think is pretty freedom, Holmes. So I've been critical on Teofimo Lopez, and now I'm starting to hear a lot of people in the boxing world. I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about people that actually work in the boxing world. Basically just say the same thing, man. He needs to change it up in the corner. The corner, his dad is and man, I feel a little bit bad, Holmes, because it seems like I'm knocking on his old man, and I'm not, but because I don't really, I don't know him or anything like that, but I'm not knocking on him. He's not helping. He's over there being a fan. After the fight, he gets on top of the ropes and he's playing to the crowd. This is the dad. And I'm like, hey, Holmes, your son maybe possibly even lost his fight, man. Why are you up on the ropes cheering and all that? But this was a good fight, somewhat. Clash of heads, a little bit slow at times. Sandro Martin is one to use the entire ring. That's one thing about him. He uses the entire ring. Doesn't throw a lot of punches, but he tries to make them count. There were a couple of good slow rounds where they were kind of swing rounds, and I'm kind of like, ooh, those are the tough ones right there. That's where I'm kind of on a teeter-totter of like, okay, what round does that go to? Well, probably not to Sandro Martin because he's the Spaniard. He's the unknown Spaniard from across the pond. Teofimo Lopez, it's Heisman night, baby. This is his night. So if you got a couple of those close rounds that could be swing rounds, it's going to go to him. It's Heisman night, Holmes. The inventor of Heisman night boxing. The backflip messiah. Teo has great skills, but he doesn't have anybody to bring it out of him. Here he is at 140. What I saw from Teofimo Lopez on Saturday night, homie, that I don't know. I don't think this guy could climb the top of the ladder at 140. Not anymore. When he left 135, even losing to Kambosos, even when he lost to Kambosos, I was like, okay, well, you know what? Listen, man, he's got a little bit of a medical issue, right? We all remember what was going on with that. And his, jackass of a dad wasn't really helping in the corner. Hey, quit playing around with them. Get in there, man. Finish him off. It's like, hey, Holmes, don't you just see what happened? That's how he got his ass knocked down. I'm talking about Kambosos here. That's how he got knocked down, by being reckless, going in there and trying to finish him off. Then he comes to the corner, and now you're telling him to do the same thing? You're even pumping him up to be even more reckless? What the hell's the matter with you? Tell him to settle down. Give him some good pointers. So even with the loss, I was still thinking, look, at 140, man, he's gonna be comfortable and he's gonna do a lot of damage. And I can't wait to see Teofimo Lopez, at 140. And yeah, I definitely thought that he could be one of the guys that could climb the ladder at 140 and be the guy because he's got that much talent. The boxing gods really blessed him with a lot of talent. It's just unfortunate he doesn't have the right people around him that can bring that talent out of him so he could capitalize on it. And this is going to be a sad story if this continues with Teofimo Lopez. He's going to be one of the saddest stories, man. I'm not saying the saddest stories, but you could put it in there. It's going to be one of the saddest stories in the history of boxing. We got a young kid that was touched by the boxing gods to say, man, we are blessing you. I, the boxing god, am blessing you with greatness. And because you're surrounded with who you're surrounded with, you will never live up to the full potential that you've been blessed with. Honestly, Holmes, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch, dog. If I was Sandro Martin, I'd be pretty upset, man. Do I think he won the fight? Do I think Martin won the fight? No, but I'm not going to argue. If anybody wants to say, hey, I thought Sandro Martin won the fight, that's cool. I got no argument. None. That's fair. Let me see what you guys are saying here. Tyson Fury moves like a featherweight. Yeah, he does. Let me see. Should have been a draw. At the end of the fight when they were going ahead and they're gonna start announcing now, I'm like, you know what? Let this be a draw. Just let it be a draw. Because I was on a teeter-totter and I couldn't push it either way. What about the 2 knockdowns? Man, there is all kinds of it was crazy. It was crazy. You know, I started checking out what's up, Joaquin? I started checking everything out the following day. I rarely after a fight start listening to what everybody else has to say because everybody's all emotional and all. So I usually wait till the next day, let people's emotions calm down, sometimes even till Monday. And man, dog, it just seemed like everybody was still all hyped up about it. Let me see. If they would have counted that other knockdown, Martin should have won that fight. And see, that's the thing. And going back to what you're saying, man, in water. That second one, that was a knockdown. Okay, that was a knockdown. Now they were, I heard like Tim Bradley, well, he did kind of cup the glove behind his head and pull him down. I didn't really see that. I saw a punch. Maybe he did grip a little bit of the ear. But look, man, Teofimo Lopez kind of just rushes in. At least those 2 knockdowns, right? Kind of like bull rushes in with his head. And so Sandor Martin just pivots to the side while he counters, and down goes Lopez. He goes down the first time is exactly the same way he went down the second time, and they didn't call it a knockdown. Now, if we're going to be honest, it didn't really look like Teal was hurt, but it's not about being hurt. Look, if he hits you right and you just lose your balance or your equilibrium gets a little shaken, even if it's just for a second, so it makes your knees buckle or whatever it may be, you go down, Holmes. That second one was a knockdown. But see, that's what I'm talking about. It's Heisman night, baby. The creator of Heisman night. Again, if anybody has Sandor winning, I'm not here to argue, man. I can't make a great argument against it. Let me see. Tio clearly won the fight. Sandor ran and refused to engage. He didn't do enough to win, period. That's kind of the way I'm leaning, Frank Boy. That's kind of what I seen. You take the one knockdown because they didn't include the other one as a knockdown, even though I believe it should have been. That's kind of Frank Bay. That's kind of the reason why, or that is the reason why I have Teofimo winning the fight. Lopez will have trouble with any of the top 540. He doesn't know how to adjust. He's one-dimensional. I agree. There's no adjustments during the fight. There is no good, there's when he goes to that corner and he's got his dad there. It's almost like his dad is just kind of like a cheerleader, man, just kind of like pumping him up. He's not really telling them much, man. Like, hey, stop rushing in with your head like that. Problem with Tio is that no one keeps it real with him. Don't even keep it real with himself. Always an excuse why he lost or didn't perform the way he was supposed to. Yeah, yeah. I mean, whenever or when he lost, yeah. I mean, he was it was excuse after excuse. Thing is Teal versus Taylor or Regis are great fights, and he has a chance for both guys in fight of the year candidates. I never question Teofimo Lopez's heart. I don't question his talent. The kid, like I said, he is blessed. He really truly is, man. But I don't like first of all, I'm not even so sure mentally where he's at, right? I don't want to come down on the kid, man, but maybe he went through a bad divorce, and we shouldn't be knocking the guy for it. A lot of people go through that, but he seemed pretty broken up about it, man. Got no idea if that still affects him. What's up, Hectic? Lopez doesn't want rematch. Yeah, no, he doesn't. But going back to what you're saying, Frank Bay, no, I think he'll give Regis a good fight. I think he'll give Taylor a good fight, but I don't think he'll beat them. A good fight, yeah. I mean, Teal is always up for a good fight. He's entertaining to watch. I like watching him fight. I don't think after seeing that performance, I just there's nothing there, man. There's nothing. There's no real improvements. The boxing gods forgot to give him a sane mentality. And that's a sad thing, Dos Matador. I'm hoping he can get it together. I'm hoping he can realize, man, where he's going, where he can go if he starts making some changes. Anyone that says or thinks Sando won does not know boxing. They can't point to a single round Sando clearly dominated. Thus, he was robbed. Look, Frank Bay, I will agree, man. There is no round that was dominated. I got Teofimo Lopez winning for the same reasons that you said. Yeah, it's not like Sando came out and was there engaging and putting up some great offense. Most of the rounds were pretty damn close. He got knocked down 2 times by a guy who couldn't punch out of a paper bag. I agree, Impala, but they didn't. They didn't count that second one as a knockdown. I wonder, man, if it was, if they did count it, probably would have been it. Lopez thought he busted Martinez's nose, but it was a headbutt that messed Martinez's breathing. Yeah, that's another thing too, man. That's another thing too. Good headbutt right to the schnoz. You can see Sando Martin, man. You can see the nose and him having to breathe out of his mouth. And look, man, Sando should have picked it up more. I mean, that was the thing, him, with the nose issue and all that. But this was his time, man. This was his time. This was like, hey, man, just go for it. He didn't do enough to win, but I think he did enough to make some people believe that he won. Taylor's going up to 147, I bet. After the Catterall fight, that's the rumor. Then Teal will move up because he was scared. Teal got skills, but he better keep his hands up at 140. Yeah, definitely got to keep his hands up at 140, man. That's for damn sure. See, I hear Teal didn't make adjustments, but guys like Sandor, Riendown, and others like them they can't stink the joint out and make anyone look bad. It happens. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Okay, also, Also, look, going into the fight, expectations, right? People have expectations. This is Heisman night. Teofimo Lopez, this is his night. Sandor Martin, nobody really knows who he is. Yeah, he goes, he beats Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia isn't really the Mikey Garcia that we know. He was just fighting in a straight line that whole night. Um, so I think people were expecting Teofimo Lopez to look good, to look great, not so much dominate the fight, but really come out with the victory where there is nobody saying, Sandor Martin probably won that fight. No, just hey, you know what? Sandor Martin gave a good fight, but ultimately Teofimo Lopez won hands down. And that's not what happened. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and tell you guys this. Did you guys see that backflip that he did? It was not a clean backflip, Holmes. I'm being real. He threw on that Trojan jersey on. He doesn't run. He kind of just walks a little, does a backflip, and it wasn't that clean, man, the way he usually lands them. Let me see. Maybe he sucks, Solo. Maybe we expect too much from Teal. And that's probably what it comes down to, Impala. I think going into the fight, people were expecting. I was expecting a lot more from him, and it was a little bit of a rough night for him. So, but yeah, we'll definitely see what happens with that. But he hit that backflip, man, and he needed to use his hands. He did not hit that one clean like he has on other Heisman nights. But still a fan of his. I'm still a fan of his, and I still want to see his next fight. Sandor Martin, look, am I interested to see him fight again? Yeah, just to see what he does. But I'm gonna be real, homie. He's not an action-packed fighter. So if I miss his fight, it's I don't know if I'll go back to see him fight again. He's not an action-packed guy, man. So I'm just kind of like, but I am interested to see where he goes next. So we'll see with that. Anyway, hey, real quick, guys, I'm running out of time here, but let's get into the fight today with anyway, it took place in Japan. Man, Monster anyway, look, first of all, it is pretty tough for some of these small guys. Once you get down to those lower weight classes, bantamweight and all that, it's kind of hard for some of these guys to get recognition. But also, it's kind of hard for somebody of Asian descent, especially somebody from like Japan, to get recognition at that, man. And Monster Inoue, man, homie, he unified the titles against Butler. I watched the fight. I watched it today. I did not watch it live, but I will say, man, Monster Inoue went in there to fight. This guy has got it all, man. Butler, people might say that Butler just kind of went in there to survive the fight. I watched the entire fight card, but I'm running out of time. I can't go over the entire fight card. Let's just stick with the main event. This guy can cut off the ring, kept Butler up against the ropes. You want to look, any fighter that wants to learn how to cut off the ring, go watch Monster Inoue. This guy was cutting off the ring perfectly. Had Butler against the ropes pretty much the entire fight. Just about the entire fight. Always had Butler backing up. Now, I want to make it clear, just because you're backing up a fighter doesn't mean you're winning the fight. So, let's not conflate that, Holmes. But, man, his power, Inoue has power. What's up, Vanessa? Inoue has power. You could hear the pops of his shot, man. He was having fun in there. He was having a good time. He was, getting up, man, and man, he was having a good time, man. And this was for all the marbles. This was for it all, man. And Inoue is in there just having a good time. Light on his feet. 10 seconds before the round begins, he gets up, kind of throwing his hands up to the ceiling, raise the roof, kind of dancing on his feet, like, hey man, I'm good. I'm having a good time. Gracias for the invite, homies. We're having a good party. And Butler, he's over there struggling. And this took place in Japan, so everything was in Japanese. Did anybody see the Ring Girls? Man, Holmes, talk about keeping the culture there. Good job on the Ring Girls, Holmes. I don't know if anybody paid attention to that, but they had, Japanese culture all over that. By the way, for the main event, it was Joe Tessitore and Timothy Bradley calling the fight. But before that, you had what's her name? Christina Poncher. I think that's her name. Christina Poncher, right? I'm familiar with her work, but I've never heard her call a fight in my life. But I am familiar with her work. She did a great job. She did a great job. She deserves her flowers. And Jamel Herring, which I don't know, man. Look, I like Jamel Herring. I like watching him fight, but that gig's not for him. He's there with Christina. They're calling the fights. The not the main event. The main event was, like I said, Tim Bradley and Joe Tessitore. But that's not the gig for Jamel Herring. It's not, man. Like I said, I like Jamel Herring. I was a fan. I like watching him fight, but it's, calling fights is not for him. But Christina Poncher, man, I think that's her last name. Poncher, something like that. Hey, great job on her, man. Great job for her. But she kind of carried the entire broadcast, man, for they did the first 3 fights, and she's the one that kind of carried it all. But good job, man. I hope maybe, who knows, maybe she starts moving up, man, because I thought she did a great job. Jamel Herring, hey, man, I hope you made some good feria during your boxing career. Or you can make some more, because damn, man, I love you, big dog, but that's not for you. That gig is not for you, man. So but yeah, you know what, Monster Anyway, hey, man, unifies the titles. That dude is bad ass, Holmes. Now, they were asked, or Tim Bradley was asked, hey, what if he moves up and fights Stephen Fulton? Look, man, Monster Anyway, when you're talking about the best fighters today, skill-wise, you gotta mention his name. You gotta mention his name. The power, the speed, the head movement, the footwork, the way he cuts off the ring. Damn it, dog. You gotta mention his name. He takes out Butler in the 11th round, and Butler kind of like crouches down, almost like he's gonna sit on the bottom rope, and then he just lays flat, like a delay, just kind of lays flat, face down, kind of. And then he turns around, and yeah, he never answered the 10 count, man. But congratulations to Monster Anyway. Hey, chingones, I'm running up against time, man. I got to get out of here. You guys check out tomorrow en Español, man. My brothers in crime, Mike Zavala and David Contreras, Ed Cholo Trucker, man. I'll catch you guys next time.